Andersen.
What's up guys, welcome back to channel Andersen. If you watched the last video on the C43 brake upgrade, you've seen our caliper and rotor setup, but we got to finish the other side and we got to weigh these things to see what exactly both setups are going to total in at. Alright you guys, well first up, let's measure our rotors. Let me zero this out real quick. Go ahead and set this thing on here. Let's see what we're at. Looks like, let's try it again. 21.7 pounds. Okay, so that's the rotor we're throwing on. Yeah, and let's throw on our old one, which obviously is going to be a little bit different because it's got some meat taken off it over the years. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, 20.3 pounds, so 1.4 pound difference right there. But again, these are not fresh, so I'd say let's call this one 21, all right, 0.7 to add on to that 20.3 if it was fresh. So let's call it a 0.7 loss. Okay, let's measure. I keep saying measure, guys. Let's weigh our caliper. Okay, let's try this again. 18.5. One now. Okay, 18.5. That is accurate. All right. Let's take this off. Set this aside. Grab our caliper. A new style caliper. Oh, this is definitely lighter. I mean, obviously it doesn't have pads in it right now, but I think it's lighter regardless. Are you even gonna register here? For real? Doesn't even, okay, it's not that light, guys. But what the heck? Try to set it on its face, maybe. Maybe this thing is just not sensitive enough. Okay, well, that kind of puts a kibosh in the plans right there. Okay, let me give you guys my hand weight comparison. This one said 18. Let's see how that feels. That is super heavy compared to this. I mean, pads are not that heavy. This is like, I'm gonna say 8 pounds. That's what it feels like. It doesn't quite feel like 10. I'm gonna say 8 pounds. Let's do a little curl test. Maybe, I mean, we could notch it up. We could say 10 just to be safe. And then our pads, I mean, these things are probably a pound. Yeah, so let's say 11 pounds versus 18 and a half. And then our rotors, let's call them pretty even, around 21. So it's about 40 pounds for that setup, 39 give or take. And for this setup, looking at roughly 32, 33. So it's pretty good. You guys didn't answer me last video. Is this unsprung weight or is this sprung weight? I don't know if the calipers count as unsprung weight, but the rotor should because they're rotating. So rotor difference, not much, but the caliper difference, definitely a good chunk. That's, let's say, 5 to 7 pounds per corner. Pretty good. So anyways, starting off the video with weighing calipers. Not what I expected, but it's what we did. Alright, I'm going to save you guys a headache of me working on the other side because it's just tight over there and no light, and we've already kind of done the recipe over here. So I'm going to get that done. throw in our wheel stud kit from Motorsport Hardware. If you guys don't know, I have an affiliate link I can put down below. I put these on every single car, and you know, you give me a little bit of kickback if you guys want to order through my link, no big deal. But yeah, these go on every single car that I have. They're literally on every single car I have here. So we're gonna throw those on, and then we'll need to bleed the brakes. Let's check fluid. I told you guys I was gonna go buy some in the last video, and I did not yet. So let's see, pre-sump brake fluid. How much do we got? Oh, actually, we got a little bit left right there too. Let's see how much is in here. Hey, we might have enough actually. Okay, it might be good. There's a good bit in here, good bit in here. Okay, we should be good on that front. Let me go ahead, dive into things, and get the passenger side taken care of, and catch you guys once that's done. Well guys, when everything was supposed to go smooth, of course, hiccups on the passenger side. This one has a regular rubber line on it, which I don't even know what to say about that, guys. How would one just throw on one stainless steel line? I'm stumped. I don't even think you can order one. I don't know. Anyways, my garagistic line happened to be too short, so it was kind of a guess if these are going to work on this, because they're designated for the 190E. I think even for that, they could probably make them a little longer because they seem short, but they're not going to work for this without like stretching them out, which I'm not going to do. So yeah, not really sure what to do right now, to be honest. It's kind of annoying, but that's where we're at. So I'm going to try to finish up the brake setup while basically keeping the caliper hanging on the backside. And then once I figure out how to get one Goodrich line, or a new set of them, I guess, then I'll complete it. But I just don't see the point of completing this using one stainless steel and one rubber line. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know what's in the back now. I was hopeful after seeing this that it was all going to be Goodrich stainless steel lines, but now I don't know for sure. So, all right, guys, we're getting started again on this video. My mother-in-law watching the Echo in the back. For the OGs, you guys know how special the Echo is to our family and the whole story behind it, but save that for another time where you guys can go back in old videos and try to find out. But I think we have some good news, and it looks like BMW to the rescue again. I ordered these E90 M3 front stainless steel brake lines from StopTech, and I think they're actually going to end up working out. There's a part number for you guys. Essentially, the part number that's recommended for C classes from StopTech is the .35001 part number, and those work great on the C55, but the C55 is a trailing caliper, not a leading caliper, and it just does not have enough room to go, length to go to the front. And even these Goodrich lines, they fit, but they're not through the original factory grommets. Like there's the grommet hole right there, and this is not through that. It's kind of going its own route. So these lines are the correct pitch and all that stuff, and will be able to go through those factory grommet locations. So super stoked on that. I kind of mocked them up, you know, just without being in the car, but I think they're gonna work. So fingers crossed. I'm gonna try to get these situated, and I'll show you guys what they look like once I get everything buttoned up. It's proof yet again, guys, that I don't hate BMW, even though so many of you guys think I hate BMW. I just don't own any BMWs, and none of them are that appealing for me to want to own. I don't know. There's a few models that I really, really love. E36s, E34, M5, stuff like that. Those are great. Some E46s are kind of cool overall. E30s also cool, but overall, I don't know. Nothing that they have is good enough to sway me away from what I've experienced in the Benz world. But I will say their aftermarket support is envious, I guess. I'm envious of their aftermarket support. But I just always find a way to make their aftermarket work for Benz. So it's yet again another case of that. BMW to the rescue with aftermarket performance parts. I will give feedback to Garagistic about the length for those lines. I'll see if they end up working on the 190, but at least I can give them the correct length now to be able to send them out for Benz models. Pretty much, this is like a 20-inch length line, and I think this would pretty much work for any leading caliper style car. And then the trailing calipers are going to be around 16, 17 inches. So yeah, that should kind of solve the problem for most of these chassis. Some of them are going to have banjo bolts. Most of them will just be a traditional thread, but yeah, some things learned at least. All right, you guys, brake line installed, worked like a charm. Was able to go through the factory routing, hard to see, but right down there. And yeah, everything plugged up nicely. These are M10 by 1.0 fittings on both sides, and they have the correct seats and all that stuff. So the only thing that was different, and BMW actually uses these on some models too, but the head on the Mercedes style has, you know, like the little square seat clips so that it doesn't move when it's inside of here. But this is actually nicer because it has a 14 millimeter on the bottom right here, so you can just hold that while you're snugking it down. And then the top, everything else, like, it literally works perfectly. So it was made for it. BMWs and Benzes were meant to coexist and live peacefully together. Now that that side's done, we'll go ahead and knock out the passenger side, finish it up. Alright you guys, well, passenger side also complete. Got everything situated up top and our lines looking good. So E90 M3, thank you. I appreciate you, BMW, even though everyone thinks I don't like you. So anyways, I will catch you guys later once I get a chance to bleed these. What's going on, you guys? Checking back in to finish things up. I just got done bleeding the brakes. Show you guys a method I used. It's kind of my go-to method now. I've learned through bleeding clutches as well, but just use basically a bottle, submerge the hose with fluid at the end of it. That way no air bubbles can come back up after they get dissipated. And yeah, basically just crack it open, go into the car, pump the brakes about 8 times just smoothly, and should be good to go after that. So both sides are bled, just finished them up. Just gonna tighten this down, and then we gotta throw in our wheel studs over here. I will lower the front of the car, and then I'm gonna basically jack up the rear real quick just to throw on the studs and switch out our center caps, and then maybe hit the rear calipers with a little black paint real quick since they are still red like the fronts were. So anyways, this project took longer than expected just because didn't know we were going to run into the mismatched brake line issue, whatever. But thanks to BMW, again, we got that situated and finish up the last little 10% here. So let me get that done and I'll catch you guys in a second. Alright guys, she is back on the ground. Finally, this is long overdue, but hey, glad to be here. I did find a weird like puddle in the center of the car. I'm 99% sure it was water, but if you guys have ever experienced this, like when the water is dripping off the car after it sits for a while, it comes in contact with any, you know, like fluids or stuff like that on its way down, probably from, you know, the drainage ports, etc., near the trans tunnel, and it sometimes plays with your mind. You feel like it's some type of fluid. I was smelling it. It had like kind of a faint smell of brake fluid. It was kind of, I don't know, the lubricity of it didn't quite feel like water, but it was in such an odd spot that I don't think it's anything to do with the brake lines, but I'll keep an eye on things. I pressed the brake pedal, it was totally fine. It was near like the trans area too, where we found the seepage from probably a long time rear main seal seepage, but was not trans fluid, and I'm pretty sure it was water. But anyways, I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, we're done for the most part. Brake fluid is at a good level. I will kind of drive the car and see where that ends up sitting at, and then I'll top it off if need be. But yeah, overall super happy with kind of the whole process. I did this upgrade for with the stainless steel brake lines, like 200 bucks, 150 bucks for all the brake setup stuff. That's 50 bucks for the calipers at pick and pull, 100 bucks for the pair of rotors. I already had the pads laying around, so I guess you could chalk up another 30, 40 if you wanted to, and then $54 for the stainless steel E90 M3 StopTech lines. So yeah, about 200 bucks, 240, 250 if you want to count the pads that I already had laying around. Pretty good deal, I think, for a set of front calipers and rotors. We'll move on to the back later. Ran out of time and just trying to do things right now, running on late night. And speaking of late nights, it's about midnight right now. Outside of the garage you can't see, but I'm gonna have to play musical cars to get this thing out of the garage, and I just don't think I'm gonna do that in this video, guys. So yeah, I will get you guys caught up to speed in the next video with this thing. It might be the next video, but if not, just the next video with this car. We will take it for a proper drive and test out how these brakes feel. But yeah, hopefully that helped you guys out a little bit, just seeing possibilities of what lines you can use. I think that's a great little life hack that I'm proud of finding, just for myself, honestly. It came in clutch, so that was cool. And then yeah, just a nice brake upgrade done. So I'm gonna drive this thing for a little bit, and the next project I have on it is either I'm gonna pick up a spare intake manifold from like MO500 that I know is at the pick and pull right now, or another M113 car, and rebuild to swap onto this thing, or I'm just gonna pull the existing one and try to rebuild it. It does look like it's in okay shape, but you never know once you get them, or until you get them all the way pulled out, if they have any spots of corrosion on them or anything like that. Usually they're salvageable no matter what, but yeah, I figured it might be kind of nice just to have a spare one that I rebuild, swap it in, 30 minutes in and out, and then I can rebuild the one that comes off of here and either sell it or keep it as a spare. So yeah, I think that's the next upcoming project for the C43. I got some other stuff we need to take care of with some other cars, and we'll just see what comes up next. So thank you guys always for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Nice just to have a spare one. Sell it or keep it. Yeah, I think that's the next. Yeah, I think that's the next.